Now, spawning in the bottom left. I should probably hit play, huh? Spawning in the bottom left from Team Unrivaled. Our Terran player in teal. This is Monk. And his opponent in the top right from Outset Gaming. Our purple Terran player. This is Valkyrie. I gotta say, Valkyrie making it to the round of 8 is actually probably the biggest surprise out of anybody. Him even making it out of the round of 32 was a bit of a surprise, and then not even going beyond that and making it past the round of 32 into the round of 16, into the round of 8 even, is quite confident. Valkyrie did start the CSL season. He wasn't Platinum when he joined the CTL. I mean, he just joined this season, and he has already made it. He already made it to Diamond pretty quickly, and he's already obviously doing very, very well, finishing at least in the top 8 here in the first season of the Turbo League. Monk is a very, very strong player from Team Unrivaled. He's been with them for a very long time, playing on and off, but kind of known for his Hearthstone casting, actually. I think he's doing another event this week somewhere else, so he's very busy with that, but he does still find time to play a little bit of StarCraft, and actually did manage to make it back into Masters League this season, at the beginning of this season. He was Diamond to start off with, but he did end up getting into Masters, so congrats to him for making that, and he's been having a good time in the Masters Weeklies on Wednesday nights even, so it's no surprise seeing him here in the round of 8. But TVT here to start us off. Reapers coming out for both players, no really big of a surprise. There is a wall here for Valkyrie at the front of his ramp, which, I mean, TVT actually walling off isn't something you actually see too much even. It's kind of pseudo-risky simply because you're putting these two depots out here, and you're putting a production building out here that, if tanks are out on the map early enough, if those get taken down and you're suddenly supply blocked and trying to defend a push at say front, that's rough. But if you're trying to hide tech of some sort, a wall is going to be good. Of course, the big problem is the fact that there is a Reaper somewhere. There's the Reaper. There's the Reaper for Monk. And Monk is a player who is very, very good at scouting. He usually doesn't necessarily use his Reapers to scout the main so much as he does to scout for proxies. So I assume once he figures out where Valkyrie's opening Reaper actually is, he'll probably send his own Reaper out on the map to try to do some damage. But Reaper does come out on here. Monk does have to pull some SCVs to kind of really shoo that away. But he will get rid of that Reaper pretty quickly, and still, this SCV is just going to town in this barracks over here. There's a tech lab over on this side of the map, and a factory finished up for Valkyrie, as well as a starport on the way. And Monk did go ahead and expand here. Honestly, Monk doesn't play pretty much any style except for this. He does this pretty much every single game that he plays in TVT. He goes for an early expand. Jesus, he's even going for a really, really quick third command center. So he's obviously really confident in his TVT. He's actually got 2 Reapers out here, which is a little different than normal, I would say, from Monk. But 2 Reapers early are going to be kind of a nice little DPS boost with those grenades. And it is just 1 Marine and 1 Reaper here from Valkyrie, but they do have that high ground advantage, obviously. So the Reapers aren't going to be able to necessarily kill what Valkyrie has, but Monk has at least seen that there is a factory finished. He hasn't really seen much else beyond that. He hasn't seen the gas timing, he hasn't seen if the starport is out and producing a medevac. A couple of grenades go down, 1 Marine does go down, the second Marine does go down, and now it's just actually 1 Reaper versus 2 Reapers. Marine trying to get in here help, but kind of poor target fire there from Valkyrie. Didn't go after the weak Reaper, and actually those Reapers could have stayed in there and done so much damage right now, because there's nothing. There's a medevac. There's literally 1 medevac right now, and that's it. And the medevac's saying, hey, what's going on? I like this. I really like that he sent this out. Maybe this is trying to trick Monk into thinking, okay, maybe he's got units in there and I need to go back home and defend, but no, there's actually nothing in that medevac at all. Another Marine going to come out and get sniped off immediately. Tank comes out, so that should be able to shut down these. Finally, almost finally, is he going to pick up the tank and just go run after him? Not quite. Meanwhile, back home for Monk, he does have this 3rd command center finished already. So that's nice for him, and he's going into his tech. He's already got 1 tank guy, he's got a second one on the way, barracks with a reactor, so he's just pumping away a lot of early units, but his tech is pretty far behind. I mean, the stem is just about to finish here for Valkyrie, and stem hasn't even started. Heck, there isn't even a second barracks for Monk to even make a tech lab and get stem. I'd assume shortly Monk's going to be looking that direction, but we'll have to wait and see. Looking like a really powerful build coming from Valkyrie. I mean, he's got 3 more extra barracks here, and along with his factory, he even has a Liberator, which isn't going to be able to do too much. There's 2 Vikings. Well, I know there's another Viking somewhere. There he is. There's 2 Vikings out already for Monk, so Liberator shouldn't be able to do too much. Reapers do go down here in the main base, so those are finally dead. So no more scouting information, at least in that regard, for Monk, but he's going to have to deal with this Liberator that is coming in. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. I assume his reaction speed is going to be pretty decent. He's going to see this popping up, and okay, he does pull his SCV, so he's not going to lose any SCVs to this. He's going to lose a little bit of mining time, but considering he has his 3rd base already down and landed and mining, I don't think he minds too much. A couple Vikings going to come over here and clean this on up. No problem. And no reaction from Valkyrie either to even try and save that. I'm hoping Valkyrie decides to actually push out sometime soon, but he's got so few tanks and so few medevacs. I mean, using the gas that he did for that Liberator, I don't know. It's kind of a weird setup for Valkyrie. It seems like it's supposed to be some sort of really powerful push. I mean, he has stem done. He's got stem done. He had a really early tank. He had a really early medevac. He could have pushed across, but as it stands, Monk is actually going to try and get a little bit cheeky. I mean, he's just got 2 medevacs with 2 tanks in them. That's about it. Doesn't really have anything else with this army. You just have the 2 Vikings to help zone out a little bit, but if Valkyrie is paying a bit of attention, he should be able to deal with this moderately well, especially considering the fact that he does have a stem, but this is going to be annoying for our Purple Terran to deal with. Tanks do land, as I mentioned earlier. Depots at the front, really easy to get sniped. That kind of hurts. There are 2 Vikings here for Valkyrie, but there's 4 Vikings here for Monk. And yeah, the Vikings just math is a good thing. Math is a good thing, and now ruling the air, Valkyrie's gonna have to find a way to get, somehow get on top of this and push us away. He's got tanks spread out, kind of all over the place in his own main base. He's going to stem forward here with his Marines and go after the Vikings themselves. Tanks are actually going after the tech lab. Perhaps, I don't know, maybe Monk thought that stem was still being researched. It was actually just Convex Shield, I think, finished up a little bit ago. So he didn't actually get either upgrade. I mean, Convex Shield and stem both are finished, but these 2 tanks are just going to town, and they've killed off this barracks here. Valkyrie going to land his tanks. Scan there, make sure he can take out this final tank. Oh, stem forward gets that medevac. Would be really nice for him, but he's barely not going to get that. So almost a bit of trouble there for Monk, but again, back home, he's got a 3rd base landed. 63 workers to 44 right now in favor of our dear old Terran player. The 3rd command center is on the way here for Valkyrie, but his brief kind of advantage, the fact that he does have a bit of a tech lead right now, is already gone. I mean, Stim's about to finish up. 1-1 is already finished for Monk. He's going into 2-2. 1-1 hasn't quite finished for Valkyrie. So Valkyrie is all kinds of behind right now in this game. There's a lot more production facilities coming down for Valkyrie, given that he is on 2 bases. He's just trying to get that set up, but Monk has pretty much the same setup in his own base. Yeah, he's got 5 barracks already. Has he got a second factory? Actually, I can't see factories on that tab, so never mind. He does have a second factory on the way, so he's with this earlier 3rd base with the actual income coming in. He's going to start skyrocketing in supply above. He's already 50 supply ahead of his opponent right now, so that's a bit rough for Valkyrie to start this game, number 1. But with his 3rd landed, he could possibly find a way just defend for as long as possible. And if he's able to delay Monk from actually pushing in, he should be in an okay position. He's got everything he really needs to kind of continue in this game, but he just has to find a way to delay. That's all there is to it. There's a bit of a turret ring in Valk's main base, so drops aren't too, or actually his natural base, so drops won't be too much of a concern, but this area over here is quite open and available for drops. Monk is a fan of doing that, to say the least. He does drop down his tanks here in the low ground, this nice little location that every single Terran uses, and he's just going to start bouncing as back and forth with those tank effects whenever he is able. One tank for Valkyrie is in a really hurt medevac, but it is going to survive. And, well, he's defending pretty decently so far, but the Marine numbers are really nice here for Monk. Actually, he's clumping all these up and just kind of stimming forward and trying to take out this last tank. He does get it. Actually, no, he doesn't. Really nice pickup there from Valkyrie. Valkyrie does save that tank somehow. It's got 12 kills on it. But somehow these Marines are still alive. I don't know how these Marines are alive, given how many tank shots they actually just took, but they are alive. Viking War is going on as well. Looking at the unit count, and there's 46 Marines to 10. Marines are stimming in over at the left of this third base here. Valkyrie. Valkyrie's going to be able to hopefully clean this up. Maybe clean this up. God, upgrades are good. Upgrades are an awesome thing to have. Monk is at 2-2 to the 1-1 of his opponent. And he's making 12 Marines at a time. He's got a secondary army that I think is probably bigger than the entire army of Valkyrie. Over on the right side, and he's about to siege up, and I assume he's just going to walk into the main base and be a happy camper. That tank goes down. He even has the +1 upgrade for his mech units, mech ground units, so that's helping out even more. Some stim bio going to come in here for Valkyrie, but that's going to get cleaned up by the actual bio of Monk. And still at the same time, there's this army on the left side that is not going to stop. There's only 2 tanks that are actually getting unsieged now, and now Monk is going to drop in this really awkward location to defend. It's such great positioning by Monk here. And he's on top of the production as well. He's going to take out these last 2 tanks of Valkyrie, now with a 200 supply to 55 lead. Valkyrie will go ahead and tap out. So GG, game number 1 will go to our Teal Terran player, Monk. So, I don't know. Valkyrie looked like he had a really good idea of what he wanted to do. And how he wanted to play that game out. Like a really solid build order. Thought out. It's just, it kind of fell apart. I'm not sure if those early Reapers frightened him or what. But he just didn't have really anything to contend with the economy and just basic setup that Monk had there.